Hello and herzlich willkommen zum Auf Die Fresse, the WXW review podcast in English. Thanks for joining us for another episode. This time around, we're going to be going through most of the year just gone. I'm Ian Hamilton, of course, joined as always by Mike Kilby. Mike, how's it going? Just, 2 weeks before Christmas?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, not too bad. A bit perplexed by that music we just had. I don't know what that. What was that?
Well, it's going to bleed into something we are going to be talking about in
Right.
news bits.
Okay.
I've been a bit handy with my Shazam this past week, and that's not a euphemism.
Right.
I should, we're going to be doing this upside down. Let's get into it. So what that was, so about a week ago, WXW now added a bunch of stuff from 2015 to their back catalogue.
Right. Okay.
That was one of the overdub themes.
It's not one that I think I'm familiar with, but okay. Well, there we go.
No, they use about 2 or 3 of them. Like it's all like either Techno Axe or there's a Mike McLeod, I think it is. You know, it's
Okay.
often the same guys, all royalty free stuff. That one, I believe, and I no, Mass Pike Road Rage.
Okay.
They tended to use stuff like the longer entrances where it was going to be obvious it was masking music, but so they've uploaded a bunch of stuff from 2015. Carat from that year and Ambition already up, but we've now put pretty much everything bar Shotgun. So you've got all your tour stops, obviously your matinee, your marquee events. Sorry. So first one I saw this past weekend, Back to Roots 14. That was the one with Carson Beck beating Big Daddy Walter for the title with Vince Russo's debut. And a match I know you've tweeted about, I'm going to be posting a review sometime in the next few weeks. Axel Dieter Jr. against Drew Gulak. That caught me out of nowhere. That was flipping fantastic.
Yeah, that was always. I think if you didn't watch WXW, admittedly this is slightly before my time as well, but if you wasn't watching WXW when Junior was around, I find there's a split between people who saw Junior wrestle and know how good he is, and then there's people who've only ever seen him wrestle in, NXT
Ludwig Kaiser or whatever
or
moniker gave him. Yeah.
And I think when I think a lot of people started going regularly, he was either heading away, or he was because we say 2016, 17, sort of when people started going. He was gone by sort of May of 2017. So I think there's a lot of the elder statesmen of sort of the traveling fans who sort of have to go, yeah, he's actually really good. But there's never really been. I think it's been difficult to sort of point towards any particular matches, really, I feel. Because obviously there's just so much stuff. So I always sort of do Hot and Spicy versus the Outsiders from Hamburg. That's really, really good. But then this is sort of this has become
big single breakthrough.
This is going to be my big singles match where I say, right, watch him against Drew Gulak. Backstreet's 2015. So yeah, it was really, really surprising. And I say, as soon as you sort of said, "Oh, this is quite good," it was 100% exactly what I was looking for.
So we'll get a review on backbodydrop.com probably around Christmas time. There's a lot going up, and I'm making a bit of a backfill project since I started Tag League 2016. So as they're going to be adding, I'm going to be going further and further back. Other stuff from 2015, you've got the shortcut for top match. Just flicked through. That's the one with Bad Bones breaking the top rope halfway through, which the absolute worst match to lose your top rope in, but they made it work. The fan weekend had with John Clear and Carson Beck trading the belt with AJ Styles in for the second half of it. 2015's World Tag Team Tournament weekend, as before, was either a league or a festival. And we've got matches like of Jeff Jarrett, Mason Ryan, and the last match of Big Rick, formerly Ezekiel Jackson. That's all in 2015's dump. So there's a lot in there. What I would say though, don't be like me, because there's a lot of tour stops, and they are like single cam shows. So basically, come on a tripod.
Even make tape now, I think.
Yeah, really. Stuff on a tripod. The tripod does move. It's not like we've just dumped a handy cam there and buggered off. There is commentary on those, which is refreshing. I think it was the first one I watched in Steinheim. It was like CMJ, Tass, Marcus Weiss, and Sebastian Holmikel, just like a rotating cast. Not 2 of them obviously referees. So yeah, but if you want on the background, you've got YouTube XW now. No, it's there. I mean, a lot of all those tour shows were cut from the old Vimeo WXW now, so you're getting more
Yeah.
content pretty much than you had,
In
12 months
theory,
ago before they binged off.
Yeah, in theory, it should be a lot of stuff that you haven't been able to watch for a very long time. So
Legally.
yeah, thing from 2015, the first WXW show I ever watched actually was Anniversary from 2015, the anniversary final, and I think that was a great show. There's a Hot and Spicy versus there's a I think it's Hot and Spicy versus the outside, no, not the outsiders, Zach Daddy. That's a really, really good match on that card. No, sorry, my apologies, I'm completely wrong. It's Cerberus versus Zach Daddy, so Zach and Walter versus Dreisker and Ilya.
Yeah. It was
Or
Hot
is
and
it?
Spicy,
It might
and
be
the Shields was the opener of that one.
Dreisker and Nero. Yeah, it might be Dreisker and Nero, actually. I can't remember exactly, but that was a really, really good match. The Andy Bad Bones match was really good. Yeah, that's a
Casting
really
Daisuke Sekimoto as well. I'm looking for
yeah.
cards.
Yeah, that was another one as well. So yeah, there was a lot of really good stuff on that one. So I think if you're looking for a complete sort of show, that's the one I would sort of point towards. That's certainly is one to have a peruse through. But I think it's one of these things. Look through the cards, see what grabs your eye, and I think it's probably that's the sort of thing. But I wouldn't necessarily go to watch through every single match because
No.
there's a lot of shows which wouldn't even make tape these days.
I'm looking now at that 15th anniversary tour final. I don't think I've seen much of Swiss Money Holding, but
Yeah, because it was Ares's Hall of Fame induction that weekend because
yeah,
he got his Hall of Fame induction and then then he retired basically.
and him and Mark Rudan against
Yeah.
Reich and Schern. I'm not going to give away the result, but you can probably guess. But I really want to see what the hell that Toblerone driver was. Like, it's just one of the long list of wacky move names. So it'll probably be something, bare bones, but it's caught my eye. But so yeah, that's 2015 on Directory now. There's no playlists publicly available. Like, we had like 2015, 2016 placeholders. Directory now in the past had, a few more complete years of shows. I think it was ad hoc stuff as far back as 2005. Plus you had like Shotguns, your documentaries, compilations of Thumbtack Jack, Chris Hero, Walter. Was it was one they did during the pandemic, like with 2005 and top 10 or top 15? Was that one match they had where it was I want to say it was Iceman in the tag. It was like a wild brawl through Essen. So I remember the time them saying, "Yeah, this would never be able to do this now for obvious reasons." Like we're brawling through a subway station. Like
I'm
not.
not sure about that.
I'm going to do quick because I remember reviewing it. Um,
Right.
but yeah, it was one of those Andy Jackson studio special things they did, like in the middle of the pandemic. Back when we were
Oh,
trying
it's
best
not
of
the
2000.
not Timeline, is it?
No, just WXW 2005. That was the
Okay.
imaginative title. Um, I'm just trying to find that match now. I mean, obviously, it's not up to watch anymore, at least until they get around to uploading these. Where is it?
I do remember during the pandemic they did release Back to the Roots 2007, which they very excitingly said don't watch this. You can read the review of that on Eurograps.com. There we go. There's a plug for 3 years ago. But
What was that? No, going horribly off trail, but hey ho. What the hell was that show we saw? And it was just before the pandemic. I think it was just like an IPW show,
IPW Wrestling Welt, IPW Germany Wrestling Weltmeisterschaft.
and it got
There's a
pulled before the weekend was over, from what I
It got
remember.
pulled, yeah, because it was terrible. There is a review of that show on Eurograps.com. Myself, Arnold Furious, and JP of the Grapple Spotlight fame, we did review that show, so that is also on Eurograps.com. I hope I'm going to get a big spike in numbers. I might start the site up again. It's still there. It's
Crap, gonna
still
have
there.
competition.
It's
Um,
still there. Believe me. I'm
it's
reading it
that
now.
it's that a match was a street fight tag title match. GTS and Iceman from my old neck of the woods against the High Class Catch Club.
Yep.
There's a yeah, and I'm just going through. Yeah, we went through the streets of Essen. It's like yeah. Oh God, yeah. Remember I've had a Paulak and Baron von Hagen in speeding in the car chasing after fellas with a cameraman in tow. Like this is not absolutely anything that they would be able to get away with for the obvious reasons today. Like fighting through the Rheinschaplatz subway station, what have you. So yeah, I'd guess that's fairly recent stuff. So I guess we just need to just upload the footage. Other stuff that was on the old Brexit now, talk about obviously Shotgun, we're going to harp on about, but obviously stuff like Spielabend, Roundtable, Conversations, Classics, my workout / your workout for Tim Patch stuff. And it was a Power of Three, was that like the interview format they had, someone talking about like three of their top matches.
Well, the
So,
conversation stuff is definitely worth putting. They should definitely put that on because there's things with with a lot of the work is in both English and German, but there's ones about Adam Cole and things like that, and I think definitely should
they
be up.
plugged the hell out of us during the pandemic era.
Yeah, yeah, they did.
So, anyway, so that's no, not what we're planning on leading off on, but I guess we've got a curse. Every time we record something, WXW will announce something major the day after. And of course, last time I recorded, spoiler, we did the 2 episodes in one evening thing. And the day we posted the second one, WXW announced that Absolute Andy's being inducted to the Hall of Fame over 16 Carat weekend. They've out and out said that's going to be the quote unquote main event on the Saturday night.
Yeah,
The I guess we'll blurb, I guess one of call said, "I'm Carat, Binish feeder to buy. I'll be back for Carat," was Sandy's response when friends were asking him during his illness. Main event at Carat shows in 2010, the Falls Count Anywhere match with Steve Douglas for belt then. Night 2's four-way title in 2016 against Carsten Beck, John Klinger, Jörn Simmons. 2018, Night 1 against Marius Alani, of course, for final on Night 3. 2019, the title defense against Bobby Guns, and 2020, the tag title win with Jay Skilled over the Pretty Bastards. We said they're going to be giving him the main event for one final time, Saturday, March 9th.
yeah,
And well deserved, just wish been under better circumstances.
yeah. I think that's the right thing to do. And it's entirely obviously go back to our sort of our Andy episode for maybe further notes on that. But I think yeah, it's 100% what he deserves, and I think it's it seems the right thing to do for me. I think the Hall of Fame. I think the Hall of Fame is something that I think WWE could make more of, really. And it's kind of a shame the last two have sort of been given they've sort of been given the flowers sort of a bit too late, unfortunately. But yeah, it's going to be a very very emotional I think situation. I don't think there's going to be a dry eye in the whole house on
No.
Saturday. No.
And we'll say one big house from one final time. And yeah, it's I think the last Hall of Fame induction they did wasn't that Robbie Brookside about 4 years ago, just before the world shut down.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I do apologise. Sorry. Yeah, Carsten was around, wasn't he? So
Yeah,
yeah.
because they obviously had the cast and stuff during his tribute video. Um, yeah, so I mean, it's been 4 years since we did a Hall of Fame induction. To be honest, that's probably no, circumstance notwithstanding, it's probably better to have a irregular cadence of this kind of stuff rather than what others do, where it's like every year we have to put 20 people in, then all of a sudden you
I
end
think
up with it being devalued almost.
I do agree with that, but I think they could do I think there is space for them to do it yearly. There's enough people, or at least every other year. I think there's enough people who I think who are would be people who would be deserving of it. I think
Yeah, it's
these are
not.
people who, yeah, they're people who are around and who I think definitely could. I look at people like, sorry to, it, it's great. Andy's going in; he would have been going in anyway. But I look at people like Claudio. I look at people like Chris Hero. Um, I think they're the sort of people who are very deserving of it. I mean, I dare say you could put Walter in, I suppose, if they would allow him to take it. I'm not sure if they would. Um, there's lots of people I think who definitely could go in. I think who would be wouldn't though nobody would have any sort of complaints with them in going in.
Yeah. So that, of course, main event, quote unquote, night 2 of Carat. A few more names got announced for Carat weekend. So Gringo Loco, he's been added to the field for the tournament itself. That means we've got 6 of 16 now, and they usually do like a big dump of names over Christmas for like an entrance. I think obviously our anniversary show is next Saturday, 23rd of December. So we're doing a 10 bell salute. It would not stun me if they did a bunch more names announced there as we want to do. We've got a couple more names for the Wheel of Wrestling Wildcard Edition show. That's the Saturday morning show, the Wheel of Wrestling ones. We've got Travis Williams from Canada and Landon Hale. I'm not going to even guess the state because I know I'm going to get wrong. He's from the old Southern Graps and Action Wrestling, that particular area. So they'll be on that Saturday morning show, and I would expect full well they may be on stuff like Inner Circle, depending how early they get into Germany. Plus on top of the likes of Rachel Armstrong, Ryan Clancy, and Stephen Wolf, who were previously announced. So that's starting to round out. But then it's the whole thing of you have your matches announced, and then we've seen the Wheel of Wrestling format. It's good to get eyeballs on a lot of different names, but if matchups don't mesh, it can be a bit tough going. But always nice seeing almost like a palate cleanser about early in the weekend, I guess.
Yeah, I think when you get these people, it's always more exciting to see them do the other stuff. You do the inner circles, you might get one that got some ambition. Somebody will get on the interact with somebody a bit different on the sort of the Wheel of Wrestling on the Sunday. So it's you have to. Oh no, Wheel of Wrestling is the Sunday, isn't it? Sorry.
Saturday and Sunday, yeah.
Yeah. So you always have to. You do always have to. The exciting bit is always the other matches, I find.
In absolute worst case, you've got a bunch of names for Randall Tag Gauntlet on night too. So
Exactly.
just stuff Andy's old app. But a couple more announcements. Jordan, Oliver, and Yoichi, formerly known as Yoshiki Inamura, they've been announced for Back to Roots in January. Another note, so Access All Artists, we felt like we spoke not about a month or two ago about them. So they'd announced a show at Emden the end of this month. That's been cancelled. Refunds given, so no news on a new date or anything like that. As for one which spun off from that really bad, at least publicly, the relationship with WXW, but announced a bunch of names of those shows. So you had like Bobby Guns, Jörn Simmons, Metahan, Michael Knight, Tommy Geisman was going to be doing ring announcing. You had names like Mike Schwartz, Yuval Goldschmidt, Rivality, Joshua Amaru, Pascal Spalt, Itach Bahar, Tim Strubing, Zeritus, Mila Schmidt. So they'd announced a full roster, just no matches. It was like a double header of like there's an all women's AC/DC tribute act or something like that. So
Dishi, wasn't it? AC/DC.
That was the name I think Aviva had booked from. Yeah, it would be something like that. But yeah, so I mean, it's the kind of thing where had the roster, but the fact no match was announced, and I had a look on was it moonsault.de earlier, and a lot of the feeling was the prices just seemed too damn high. At least not if not for getting in, but just like for a decent seat or decent view. So I don't know if they priced themselves too high or whether it's not with a premium product or whatever it was. But yeah, this just seems to have stopped before it's even had a chance to get going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it does sort of come back. I hope it does sort of have a second go at it. I think possibly trying to launch in a very small sort of place was a bit of a mistake.
Probably worst time of year as well.
Yeah, and not in a great time. I say the tip. I don't know if it's the same in it was between Christmas and New Year, wasn't it?
It was the 29th and 30th, so it's a Friday, Saturday.
It makes you wonder, like, why that weekend was chosen, because it's people have spent their money, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've already spent their money, and they're potentially spending time with their family. So I don't, if they'd maybe said it was for like the first weekend of January, there's half a chance they might have done not quite well. But yeah, hopefully they have another crack at it. But I mean, if it's another promotion that sort of joins the waste pile of German independent promotions, then that's a shame, because there was a lot of things to be intrigued and excited about by those.
Obviously, the experience, the fact was a quote unquote proper touring company, so it
Well,
wasn't just a bunch of lads hire a gym kind of thing.
Well, Dennis Birkendahl being involved in it made it interesting because Dennis Dennis knows how to make wrestling look good. There was never the thing which kind of was a bit frustrating was that they never said, "Oh, it's going to be recorded." They was always saying live, 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 and I was hoping it was going to appear somewhere, but never. I never got the answer. I asked them multiple times and never got an answer. So yeah, we'll see. Eh?
Maybe next time, hey?
Yeah, we may never speak about them again. Who knows?
We'll see. It's going to 2024. Another match. So Robert Dreisker retained the WWE Unified World Wrestling title. He took on Aaron Insane at Fight Back Wrestling Frankfurt earlier this month. So that was one they teased on Broken Rules. To be fair, again, was expecting Insane to win the belt, but in fact, he's been doing a fair bit of traveling, as we'll get onto in a second. And finally, I guess. So, of course, last year it's been like tradition for a while. We do the big end of year Academy show. I think it's 4 years ago they had the one with I was first to remember Anil Marriage debut, taking on Robert Dreisker, Avalanche Robert Dreisker in his live debut. Since the pandemic, of course, we've been doing like charity shows. This one's no different. Next Wednesday, December 20th. So it's going to be available to stream. It's basically it's going to be, led to believe, the GoPro on the entranceway point of the ring. So don't expect shiny, flashy graphics unless I'm going to be proven wrong. But what Director is asking / rotation is make a donation to dkms.de. If you check rotation's Twitter page, the links are all there. That's the German Bone Marrow Donor Center. I'm not going to try and pronounce the German full name of that. I looked it up and I thought,
lovely compound word, I'm sure.
It absolutely was, and I could not tell where the word started and bled into the next one. But you basically make a donation, send a screenshot of it or your donor ID, because they basically do like a monthly donation or one-off through PayPal or what have you. Send that to the WWE Germany Twitter account or to the Instagram or Facebook page of the Wrestling Academy, and then come show day, they'll send you a link to that. Like I say, if you're looking for the donation links, go to Rotation's Twitter page. WWE obviously retweet a bit further down their timeline, but direct links there. Card will take PayPal as well, so it all goes to a good cause, and you'll get to see a decent show. And I think already they have announced a couple of matches for that particular show. We're doing the gimmick where it's the kids drawing the graphics for this again. So,
I saw Anil Marek versus Ilya Bloom.
So that's actually main card worthy stuff based on storylines. Unfortunately, we haven't put the graphics of the main WXW account, so I'm just looking up the Academy page. And this is WXW Wrestling Academy on Instagram. So we have
Ultima Sombra and Baby Allison.
So we've got a four-way dance. Fairs Aguilar, Ricky Eagle, Alex Duke, and Michelle Green. Okay. The Anil Marek Ilya Bloom match we spoke of. Tag team match, Baby Allison and Ultima Sombra against Lavaniel and Jane Nero, not related to Julian. And those were 3 matches announced so far. And I think it's a Wednesday night heat show, so you get like 5 or 6 matches, but still, donation charity, you're getting, it's not all trainees, you're getting some recognized names as well. So well worth your time. Being next Wednesday, December 20th. I think it was like last year, it's live streamed and it is archived through YouTube. It's a private link, so don't be a dick, don't share the link. It'll be up there and well worth a watch.
Yeah, there's not even any Champions League next week, so what?
Yeah, no excuse. Well, for Man United, there's no Europe at all next week. Big
or any week. Or any week.
Oh well, Sunderland have not been in Europe for like 50 years at this point. But so anyway, moving on, we've got a couple of new faces we go around the globe. So going around our usual international superstars, so Oscar Leuber, he had a few more losses on the World Tag League Tour. Only wins he's had has been in singles matches. Most recent one, beating Shoma Kato in Karatsu on December 6th. I think Shoma's one of the newer young lions, so pecking order is going to win. Massimo Pesca, I think last time we spoke, he was over in the US for was a Daikaiju Pro. He stayed in there for a little while longer. He was last on the December 7th edition of Wrestling Open, losing to Rex Lawless in the opener. So we've got IWTV, that's on there. Also on IWTV, bit of a tidbit, so Ava Everett for Y2 Cuties, we're keeping that name. So Live Pro Wrestling, that is the name of their promotion. It's an absolute bugger to search for, SEO wise. They had a show in New Bedford, Massachusetts on December 3rd called the Whaling City Rumble. She teamed with Ava, Aaron Rourke, and Leon LSG. The Cosmic Cuties was their name, and they used Y2 Cuties theme. So maybe that's the new gimmick when she comes back. Hey, that theme lives on. That's always a thumbs up. And if you're looking for results, they lost to a trio of Little Mean Kathleen, Teddy Goods, and I shit you not, Spike Dudley.
I just read that. I was like, pardon?
I believe that was his
Return.
well, his first. I don't know if it's full on return, but I remember reading on one of the aggregated Twitter accounts his first match since 2015.
Bloody hell! Wow. I need to try and find that.
That is up on IWTV as well at the moment. I haven't seen it, but I did see it go up on their Barker channel, so that is up to watch now. Over in Japan, I'm just going to bunch Tempesta, Leighton Buzzard, Endercow together because they're currently Project Havoc in Big Japan. They're going to be rolling into DDT's Korakuen Hall show on New Year's Eve. They'll be teaming up with Daimonji So, another member of Project Havoc, taking on the four-man team of Kazuki Hashimoto, Kazumi Kakuta, Kazuma Sumi, and Ryuka, which I don't know any of those names, but the fact they've been invited onto DDT show, it's another promotion under their belts. And Buzzard heading back to the UK next year, it's a few more reps against names he's probably never going to have fought otherwise. And finally, Robert Dreisker. Not a name we'd expect to see here, but had a weekend in the UK last week. 3 shows. Worked for New Wave Wrestling, that's Brendan White's school in Wales, beating Jay Joshua.
On the same former Dragon Pro, isn't it?
Former Dragon Pro, shut down, bought, rebranded. On the same card, Mulligan, who had a spell with New Japan Dojo earlier in the year, beat Lawrence Roman, and I need to double check that because I saw that from Cage. I heard Laurie had flight issues. I don't know if that's...
he was. Yeah, I think he got that. Yeah.
Well, Cage Match has got it down. So unless it was someone else who in black and orange and shaved head, but then the next day they were in Bristol. Don't have results, but there's a photo doing the rounds of Amboss working as baby faces, which get those foam fists mass produced because they look to be having the time of their life there.
If they didn't want us to cheer them, they wouldn't have put 3 good lads in the team.
So. Well, true. You could be what was it? And I'm going to get stick for this. What was the Progress stable?
You're asking me.
Oh, God, so you can hear clacking.
What, the close personal friends?
No. God, this is going to drive me around the bend.
It doesn't matter.
Do not resuscitate. That was it.
Okay.
Had William Meaver, Spike Gervais, and Drew Parker before he went to Japan. And it didn't click, but yeah. So you did Pro Wrestling Chaos with Lawrence Roman as baby faces, and then they Dreisker worked with Pro in Southampton this past Sunday, beating Robbie X via DQ because Robbie X decided to whip his ass for steel chair, which a win's a win, I guess. But he looked pretty good in that match, mind. If only it was a Gideon Gray and Andy Quilden on commentary. I think it was Gideon. I don't think he got down how to say Dreisker. It was Dresker or Dreisker.
Well, I remember when I watched MLW, the Battle Riot that Dreisker was in, they called him Dresker. So, what are you saying no for?
MLW.
Yeah, I remember staying up late to watch that live. MLW Battle Royale.
I mean, back in the day, they were good. These days, it's nothing but a series of press releases,
isn't it? It was good that year. Satoshi and Avalanche and the Battle Riot quality.
I I remember seeing bits of that. Not obviously
Yeah,
not live, but
I've watched the whole match. Yeah, um, Dreisker gets paid off by MJF to sort of uh,
I forgot
MJ.
about that part.
Yeah, Dreisker comes into the ring, he clears everybody out, and then MJF pays him, and then like Dreisker just batters everybody and protects MJF.
He's the devil.
Yeah, there he is. Dreisker is the devil. Well, I don't know, maybe.
Well, see what mood he's in. But anyway, so yeah, that's a quick look around. A lot of promotions I was shutting down on Japan. They're going to overdrive over the holidays. So see who's on the list next month. But what we're going to do is have a quick run through the year that was. It's an absolute ton happened this year, so we're not going to go through everything. We'll start in January, so uh, open the show. This WXW now. Launched on YouTube at the start of this year. The plan was to have WXW on Vimeo. That hit the fan. That meant was the 22nd anniversary was massively delayed. Unless you're willing to pay build for the stream, which we're
Oh,
not
the
going to go
build
there.
stuff. That
Yeah,
seems
but
a long
that.
time ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Um. Yeah. So that meant Vimeo off the window. YouTube came in. I think for me it was a massive win.
yeah,
YouTube way more reliable, more devices. I'm not having to click plus 10 seconds every sodding time I want to fast forward through something on the TV anymore, which, you know,
yeah.
and funny enough,
I think
Vimeo,
it's
they've
one of the
actually,
best stuff I've ever done.
Vimeo's actually deprecated their smart TV app this year.
Oh, is there?
So if you wanted to, you'd have to, cast on your phone, which is infinitely more user friendly, but
Yeah,
yeah, rest in peace, Vimeo, I guess. But yeah, in the ring, we had Levaniel, of course, champion, retaining against Tristan Archer. Jörn Simmons vanquished Heisenberg in an unsanctioned match at Dead End. And that was one of the had, don't know if they gave the guy's name, but it was a non-WXW referee. Like they did, turn the screens off. It was the whole, had the Dead End banners up, which bothered me, but hey ho. They did more than to say, yeah, this isn't sanctioned by WXW. We had a non-WXW ref. They basically made it as
it
bare
was very
bones they
clever.
could.
It was
It was
very
a
clever.
good presentation of it.
Yeah, it was very clever. And I watched an unsanctioned match in another promotion this year. I couldn't tell you what it was, but it was somewhere in America, and they it was that memorable. But they didn't do that, and I was like, come on, it's an easy win. That
And we signed a contract to have an unsanctioned match that's sanctioned by the promotion.
yeah,
That tends to be the way. I would just say it's unsanctioned. It will get around it. Elsewhere in Hamburg, Metahan ended Bobby Gunn's long unbeaten run, um, which was the Carat qualifier, wasn't it? So that took him away from
yeah,
Carat this year. Back to the roots, we had the French Doors and Peach Tahani beat Amboss and McCavick Schlacht. I think that match probably more memorable for Robert Dreisker breaking his face very early on. Elsewhere, back to the roots, Lawrence Roman beat Mag for the shotgun title, and Matt then set up the Mag to Who feud for the next few months. We head into February. Levaniel's royal screw job. As Norman Harris told him, he had to qualify for 16 Carat Gold, then win it because he was going to put the title up in 16 Carat this year. Levaniel didn't even make the tournament. He was screwed out in the tournament finals. So, yeah, 16 Carat Gold this year was for the belt, as we'll get on to. And of course, February had the first pairing up of Everett and Jacob Crane. They'd be a lot more visible as the year goes on. March, of course, 16 Carat Gold, won by Shikahiro Irie, so new champion, of course. In the rest of the team, we had Peter Tahani losing to Axel Tish in the semis, which led to a best of 5 series, but took up most of the rest of the year for one reason or another. Außer Hungary and Baby Allison won titles well over Carat weekend. Of course, that's the French Toss losing the tag belts, which began a slow descent to madness for Senza Volto. We also had a debut as a late replacement by Mike DiVecchio, who was in as an injury replacement for Jörn Simmons, and pretty much they stole the weekend and a lot of heart spots, in space of 48 hours.
yeah, it was a great sort of debut. I mean, I'd seen him quite a bit beforehand, but I kind of, and I was like, he's cool, but I wasn't sure how well he would sort of transfer to um, sort of the big stage effectively. But yeah, he sort of took the ball and ran with it, really, didn't he?
Of course, elsewhere in Carat weekend, Fuminori Abe won Ambition, beating out Thomas Shire in the final. We had Patrick Borg beating Icarus in a debut.
Ah,
They started with
absolutely fine.
GMC, WXW stuff. which I don't want to say it's gone cold because they can heat this up in a heartbeat if they want to, but if it's start with what could be a very promising relationship, shall we say? We had the final Wexley Renowned Friends showcase. At least it's not my docket for 2024, so I'm saying for now at least. Main event night
I
two's
think they've
crew.
unfriended.
Yeah, very few people at top 8 if MySpace is still a thing. Is it still a thing these days?
No, I don't think so.
Or if it is, it's probably just like a haven for dodgy pops, I'd guess. Yeah, Cree versus Job. Bobby Guns beat Norman Harris in the night 2 main event of Carat. I guess probably it's a mixed reception of that. Like, I remember live was the most wild match I've ever seen live, just in terms of run-ins, the
I
sheer
loved
amount of stuff
I loved
going on.
I loved it, but I like listen. I love Andy Quilden's shit main events at the York Hall.
Even the
So
boxing ones.
I love them all. I love Vader Osprey. I loved Star Osprey. I love all of them terrible main events, and this was everything part of that. So I love Carnage, and something's going crazy. So
But he wasn't
I
booked this
actually
year.
very good, very good. Um, yeah, so I was looking through my 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 spreadsheet of match ratings this year, and I've somehow made this one of my joint third best match of the year, which I think may need some revisiting. I don't know, but yeah, I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
I mean, it's not every match you get to see
It's
someone
not
have.
for everybody. It's not for everybody.
Was once Bob said year and they threatened to carve out his intestines with bolt
With
cutters or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. Well, he had the didn't he have an appendicitis?
Appendicitis, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think they was
that's what.
aiming. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he didn't make Cav. That's how Mike D came in. Um, Elsewhere in March, who knocked out Maggot in the first round of Carat. They had a street fight rematch at the end of March in Frankfurt, and that would end up being Who's final WXW match. Not too long after 16 Carat Gold Revenge, he announced he was done with wrestling. He had a few matches, I think, with GWF he finished up, and yeah, Prince of Who's pretty much done with wrestling now, which caught a lot of people off guard, and I think may have led to Who's next year must have been a little bit rocky.
yeah. I think, and I think they did very much say this isn't a storyline thing. He's got some personal things he needs to deal with, which yeah, fair enough. I do, as far as I understand, he's actually running a food
Burger
truck,
Van.
in in Frankfurt apparently, because I know somebody who went to it. Uh, so yeah, I don't know how. I think I saw a picture of it. So yeah, but
I
fair play
know
to
he
him.
was one of the old, because on the website Instagram notes like this, I forget the name, it's like Burger Van, this putting out timeline. It's like Soviet accounts followed by a real bunch of old WXW guys. Like, he's just rebranded an old account, but I couldn't figure out what it was, whether it's a Pretty Bastards account or whether it's some other one, because
Yeah,
he still has his own account. Obviously, Maggot's got his own. It's like, it's just really weird, like, retiring from wrestling, and all of a sudden, you get, like, we're open today, well, we're sold out, another happy customer, that kind of stuff. But, I mean, hey, if he's happy, I mean, you've got to do what you've got to do.
yeah,
Wrestling ain't for everyone. That's not in terms of, being able to, life dictates what you can and can't do. Unfortunately, if circumstances prevail, yeah,
yeah.
that's where you've got to be. So yes, if I was, like I say, sudden retirement. Moving on to April, more change of plans. Axel Tischer fractured his collarbone, working for Progress. I want to say it was a, a wrestling convention show in Manchester, I think. Um, Basically, he was out for a few months, meant the best of 5 series he had with Peter Tahani was on ice. Tish had just gone 2-0 up in the series, so it just meant for another pair. I think they were aiming to do it shortcut. The late Tag Festival weekend. Ava Everett won the women's title for a second time, beating Baby Allison in Dresden. Heading to May, injuries at Ahoy meant had changed the card. Meant that Peter Tahani had a title match against Shiki Irie. Of course, Shiki won. House of Hungary defending against Bobby Guns, and Michael Knight became Icarus and Roman against the Only Friends, of course, non-title. More changes. Fan appreciation night was meant to be in Gelsenkirchen in nothing what we called the Mark Hall on steroids, or the mini Mark Hall, sorry. Ended up being moved to Oberhausen because the Fight Park. I'm
Was being
completely
used.
blanking. Yeah, I'm blanking the name, but the training school in Gelsenkirchen, GMC needed the basically space to have a ring there. So they moved the show to Oberhausen for Turbine Hall. What it did mean, though, we got the Promised Academy show from June COVID. We actually got that. So taken a long way around, but at least the Academy guys got the big show. And I think that got streamed on YouTube in 2 parts back when we were doing the Metal Marketing Monday stream. So that's up on WXW's YouTube. WXW going to Papenburg. They did so obviously because Carat Norman House no longer sporting director, and just gonna merge a few of these into one because I remember we spent months bleating
Yeah.
about this. The Norman
There's
Harris
20
against
episodes on
Levaniel
this year.
stuff, like that felt like went on forever in a way. It did a load of spin-offs like Norman Harris gave Metahan a title shot before he was sacked. Despite the fact that Metahan was nowhere near the title picture beforehand. Um, had Lawrence Summon beating Irie in Papenburg. So we ended up with Fan originally being advertised as Irie against Michael Oku, debuting in a title match. Meant that we were getting a four-way with Metahan and Norman. Irie pinned Roman and also meant it was for naught, but hey ho. Elsewhere in Fan had Norman House beating Yearn in a Fans Our Lumberjacks match, which I think was fine, but everyone was waiting for the fans to actually whip Norman Harris and just pretty much silence after then. Or before then, I should say, when WXW returned to London first time in 4 years, they took the Saturday night spot over the Super Strong Style weekend. Main event's a cracking match, Shigehiro Irie beating Luke Jacobs to retain the title. You wouldn't remember too much about Dave. I think you were elsewhere, at least first half of the show,
Well,
celebrating.
yeah, it was Luton versus Coventry at Wembley Stadium, and then I saw the second half. So I
Yeah,
saw
you got in just at the interval. Like literally they
yeah,
went to break and you came through the front door. Good timing.
I saw Charlie Evans versus
Morgan.
the who was it?
Charlie Morgan.
Sorry, Charlie Morgan versus the one who got signed by Impact. I can't think of
Harley
her.
Hudson.
Harley Hudson. I saw Amboss. No, I saw Lawrence Raymond versus the some guy from America,
Gary J.
Gary J.
It was only
And then I
two of
saw
the
the main
UK
event.
and the WXW things like the I'm free, well we'll take you. It's just utter randomness.
Yeah, and then I saw the main event, which was very good. And also, Tihani Oku was class as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe ruined's not the right word, but um I remember because I was sitting front row for the start of the show and I ended up standing second half. There was one guy near me who was very much a Progress loyalist and spent
Yeah,
the
he was
whole
fuming
match.
that someone from RevPro was working in a Progress ring. Yeah, they're
Should
great,
we
mate.
should we tell him that Mike Loku debuted in that building for Progress?
Them people ain't worth reasoning with.
Yeah, I remember being nervous to the point of where he was going to go with that kind of bile, but thankfully didn't go in anything more problematic, shall we say. End of May, Dennis Birkendahl, we touched on, he left Direct Salute fan. Guessman was one of those like wasn't even like a hint of anything like publicly. And then day of a show, statement being posted, days my last day after 9.5 years. It caught a lot of people by surprise, inside and obviously us as fans. So yeah, and obviously we spoke earlier about the whole Access All Artist stuff. That name will come up again shortly. Moving to June, Amboss lost for tag titles to Only Friends at Driver Champions. But Robert Dreisker won the Unified World Wrestling title, beating Shigehiro Irie in just under 2 minutes in an impromptu match. Dover would then be booted out from Boss in retaliation, for losing the tag titles. And this feud still keeps going. Norman House beat Levaniel in a strap match. It finally ended in July in Frankfurt. Yearn and Levaniel winning an I Quit match over Metahan and Norman Harris, and thank God for that because I was no, I would have been happy to send it in at Carat, but we got another few months out of it.
Well, I remember us getting to like February and we said, "Well, they've got to finish it soon, surely."
Yeah, how soon is now? As the song went, turned out 4 more months. But yes, we had Maggot and Baby Allison. They were feuding. Maggot getting the win. He was doing the whole, "Oh, I'm in a funk since I lost the Shotgun title," and that kind of played up to Shotgun for top. Michael Oak, who made a singles debut, beat Nigel Blanc in Frankfurt. That was a low-key cracker of a
Really
match.
good, really good. That was.
And we spoke from earlier, MLW. They had Ava Everett over there. She lost women's title to Delmi Exo, so Delmi became a double champion for MLW and
She did. She
WXW.
did do a bit of a tour with the women's title, didn't she? So she fought in lots of places with it.
Yeah, it wasn't like she went back to America and lost. She did.
She defended against Killer Kelly, didn't she?
And I'm desperately trying to pull up now on Cage Match where, because I think it was like the a lot of the IWTV promotion. So looking now, so you're looking at, after she went back at the end of April, Elle Valentine for Let's Wrestle, Little Mean Kathleen for that Live Pro Wrestling, Killer Kelly for Limitless, and I think that's up on WXW now.
I think it is. Yeah.
Becca for Pro Wrestling Grind, Alicia Edwards for Pro Wrestling Live again, a couple more for Live against Alicia Edwards in 2 separate shows. Another Portuguese wrestler called Ariel, not Killer Kelly, so yeah, that was a bit of a theme. For a company called Fight Life, I think that's on what's now Triller. There's a really horrible redesign, rename, but you do you. And another one on Live against Becca. So yeah, a few names, but no extra exposure, I guess. But they've lost to Delmi Exo in July for MLW. In August, WXW went on iPay-per-view. Guess that's still the name used now. I don't know, IPLE just sounds like a countdown conundrum of sorts. But they streamed Shortcut of the Top through the GMC website. Stream held up pretty well, but the fact that nothing's been said since, well, maybe says it all, maybe. Maggot won Shortcut for top, even though he injured his shoulder during the match. Tish returned from injury and lost to Peter Tahani, so that best of 5 went to 2-1. Oku beat Christina von opener, and the Royal Rumble title defense was Anil Merrick losing to Robert Dreisker, and that was Anil's last match before he disappeared for a bit. We also had the return of Sebastian Hackel. He was in the Shortcut for top, and his name's going to pop up again. We said Access All Arts will come back up soon, so they ran a show to XW in Bremen in August as one of those Wheel of Wrestling shows, and I think probably notable for that goddamn sound system. I think the Norman Harris for sound just gave out on him on Hector, the theme, his music just kept going all over the place. Like venue, visually looked good. The sound system has just been drizzling shits. That's just the way it just came. It wasn't like bad dubbing, was just, I don't know how this happens. Digital would sound like CD player was skipping, which was quite the feat to go through.
Yeah,
but,
it was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? Yeah.
We had Michael Oku doing a time limit draw for Lawrence Roman for shotgun belt when he hot-footed onto a plane for was the Rev Pro anniversary show the next day. Ava Everett regaining women's title from Delmi Exo. She became the first and maybe only 3-time women's champion. Peach Tahani beat Axel Tischer in Hamburg the next night to level the series up. Rottenflot beat Metahan and Rambo to qualify for Tag Festival. Then go to September, directly back in England. They went up to Newcastle for a joint show of North Wrestling. Main event was Peach Tahani and Leon Slater, another crack of a match.
Blast, yeah.
Well, I would say only on directly now, and I think we're in December now. Not on the network, not on Fight/Triller. I'd assume it's the right thing.
Must be because of North, yeah.
But yes, I mean that's well worth going off way if only for the main event. Then we had Tag Festival weekend, and just a couple of bullet points I'd scribbled down. The whole thing about what the hell they doing, the format not being nailed down till late on, and there being a 12-man tournament with Cash and Hector winning with titles. Amboss beat Only Friends Night 2, which led to Michael Knight's farewell, or was it because we didn't show the farewell on the VOD? Night 1's main event was Dover's farewell to the WXW. He lost to Icarus in a bloody, was it the final arrow match?
Yeah.
Where we had skewers and all that kind of stuff. I think Icarus may still be bleeding from that. Remember, he was opening up so easily.
They did do another in HCW Hungarian. I'm yet to watch it because I'm waiting for Christmas. But the in Hungarian Championship Wrestling, they did do basically another one of that matches, and it was equally as bloody. So
Oh, good. You'll be something to watch for Turkey on Boxing Day.
that's something. Yeah, I'm saving for the Christmas weekend. So
That's on the HCW YouTube page, yeah?
it's HCW, but you do have to pay for it. It's on. They've got like the WXW thing.
Fair enough. Femme Fatale was won by Nicole Matthews, but she was unsuccessful beating Ava Everett. We have a debut of High Performer Limited with Robin Christopher Forwerk. His manager, Anil Marek, came back at Wheel of Wrestling 50 as the first member of the group. Forwerk had been working the Academy / Fight Forever tapings, usually managing like the imports of the month. I think the main one I remember was post game on the Summer CCW show, the one they did in the Academy where people were I'm saying collapsing, but it was not really hot there from people who were there. Speaking to people who were there live. Yeah, they've obviously added Tristan Arch and Joseph Fennick Jr. to that group. Elsewhere in October, Ilya Bloom won a shotgun belt, beating Lon Strowman and Bielefeld. And then, hey, Access All Artists back up here again. That whole relationship came to a sudden end. We went through this show a couple episodes back, but basically, we had a non-taped show in Magdeburg. AAA said it was the last show they were doing with their exclusive service provider. There's a load of back and forth.
They didn't tell them.
Yeah. Well, based on the exclusive version events, I know AAA was saying, we told you, but no, we're not going to litigate. Yeah. We went through this in the episode, but timelines didn't seem to add up. It ended up, of course, with Access All Artists doing the Rock and Wrestling show, and then that's being cancelled. Yeah. So, yeah, that was a whole lot of nothing. November, Maggot cashed in his shortcut for top title win shot, losing to Robert Dreisker in Frankfurt. Mikkelsen and Lawrence Strowman won the tag titles in a ladder match at Broken Rules, there, beating Cash and Hector and Fast Time Mood and Pete Tahani, the former GWF tag title holders there. Elsewhere, we had Masha Slamovich winning the women's title from Ava Everett in the last women's standing match. Then we had the challenge to Robert Dreisker for a unification match at Anniversary in about 10 days' time as we're recording. And of course, the episode a couple of weeks back, the sad news of Absolute Andy passing, which brought November to a very sad end. And of course, December, 10 days out from Anniversary show, so we can't predict that, but what we can do is go back through some of our predictions from last year, this year. So I went back and listened, and so I predicted NXT.
This is a worthy thing to do, I think.
Yeah, see how off base we were. I think you were probably a lot closer to target than I was.
On some.
I had in hindsight, a shoe-in. I said that NXT Europe wouldn't launch this year, and hey, the same bloody logistic talking points I've had for last year. Where's it going to be based? Well, no one's had any answer, and okay, WWE's got a lot more money now, but I would dare say this may be the same situation in 12 months' time. You'd picked out 3 names to get booked by WXW this year. Ricky Knight Jr., who, I'll give like half mark to. He was booked to tag with Zack Knight at Chocolate for Top, but pulled out a week off. So
it was just night things which stopped him.
meant we got for Velocities against Stony Friends, which is a decent tag match. Leon Slater, who worked for GCW over Tag Festival weekend, but that WXW debut ain't coming till dead end.
He did North.
You did North as well, so another half mark.
I think that's a half, right?
But you did get Mike Lowe, who bang on.
Yeah.
So 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
He has actually made the splash. I think he's very, he's popular already. So
he had fans in Frankfurt that first weekend. Yeah, I noticed. Exactly. I'm not just Thomas middle finger guy either.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think I'm right there.
So you also picked a couple of names, in and around the scene to have good years, and this is kind of where, hit rate's a bit off. Eva Klasky, she only had 4 matches this year. Gullius Jr. only had 3 matches, all of them at East Ostdeutschland swing in October. And Ben Stolf BT, he only worked for Showcase Show and Ober Traveling. Can't win them all, I guess.
No. Well, no, Gullius worked Carat weekend.
You did the Passion Pro tag, yeah. So,
and he had a really good match with Luke Jacobs. Hey, come on.
I was
I think
looking for Ghoulies Brothers tag team. Yep, you're right. Yeah, at
yeah,
We Love Wrestling.
yeah,
That
come
was
on.
Carat weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it maybe
Yeah.
wasn't the weekend. It wasn't the year I maybe hoped he would have. But
No, the only reason I'm forgetting, I mean, I'm sponsored for Bloody Show. I now know I was down for COVID that show, and I was the whole show I was just coughing the whole time, just blanked out for large spells. So yeah, so technically 5-6 matches. So yeah, no, not quite sure. I think the Saxony swing. I think we said he had a really good match with VVA, but it's one of those where he needs to have a lot more reps in
yeah,
that role. Kind of grow into your paws, that kind of wonky analogy as Jim Ross. Um, Other things he picked up, I think Yearn to have a good year if he has a lot of dates. Unfortunately, punctuated by injuries,
yeah.
and
Didn't get the
always
dates.
been bloody involved with Norman Harris.
Yeah,
That kind of cursed. And Bobby Guns, yeah. I mean, had only friends most of the year, but towards the back end of the year, things were. I don't say the old Bobby like it wasn't not like it was a different work, but we're definitely going back to him being a singles guy now.
yeah. As I say, I think the quote I think you've written down is he's a worker's worker that everybody wants to face. I think we probably didn't get quite as much of that as maybe would have liked, but obviously he had some. He had a decent run. He had a decent match against Yota Tsuji, I thought, in January. Before obviously he went full time New Japan. There was a really great match against Tisha at We Love Wrestling in Bielefeld. That was really like a really unexpected good one. Thought the Irie match in Hamburg was pretty damn good. Um, and obviously there's the wild Hoss fight, the wild bull fight of Carrot Knight too. So
Yep.
yeah, and also he had some. I think the one against Kevin Lloyd, I quite liked that in. No, the one against Thomas Shire in the semi
Yeah,
final.
the Ambition semi final, yeah.
I thought that was fun as well. So
And then the Tempesta farewell match in June was on Fight Forever, which not that many singles matches, but I think there's not been any stinkers. So and again, with Bobby Guns, I think that would probably more newsworthy if it were stinkers. But a couple of predictions I had. Well, the only prediction I note down. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike had the unified title by the end of the year. So
you
close.
weren't far off. You weren't far off.
You, however, I think he'll get Dreiskers champion this year.
Yeah,
Yep.
winner, winner,
So,
chicken dinner.
yep, decent spread. Go for some predictions later, but in terms of match of the year, so I'd look at my sheet. I had 6 matches all tied, like in like 4.25 stars, which you know pretty decent by any stretch of imagination, given we don't exactly run weekly. Um, Party catch Couchbus, Trey Miguel, Ares, and Arbe against Igel Blanc, Sense of Ultra, and Commander. Luke Jacobs and Urie from London. Igel Blanc Oku from Frankfurt. The final hour match from Tagfest. The other party catch match from Tagfest, so Gringo Loco, Ares and Antigo against Igel Senza and Mike D. And the final Axel Tischer Tihani match. I think any of those 6, you're having an absolute great time. But I think for me, um, I'd be tempted to do Icarus and Dover just because of the spectacle of it. But again,
Yeah,
6 matches, very different styles across all of them. Best mixtape of the year.
I've
New,
got I've got Harris and Guns from Carat as well. I've got the final of Tagfest. I thought that the Renegades Amboss and Hector and Delnig.
yeah.
I have Astronauts versus Second Geared Crew from Tagfest. Icarus Dover, obviously you mentioned. And the other one I throw out as well is Commander and Ahura from Carat. I thought
Oh
was very
yeah,
good.
both the second round match. Yeah,
Yep. And also I have Hischer versus Slamovich from quarterfinal as well. So
yep.
they're the ones I would sort of throw in as a side. Also, I would also go for a bit of a more of a left field Astronauts versus Ilya Bloom and Tihani
Oh,
from
from in a
Inner
circle.
Circle.
Yes,
Yeah, I would
yes.
go for that. That would also be one I'd go for. Adam Priest versus Arbe. from Inner Circle I thought was very good as well, and also I did mention Gullias versus Jacobs. I think that was a bit of a low. It was a bit of a forgettable banger because you don't even remember it happening. So
Well, to be fair, I was spent half a show, trying not to cough my
yeah,
guts up. But so basically, what we're saying is, for festival weekends, I would safe bets.
yeah. I think there was more last year. There was a lot more spread over the year, but I think in 2023, I think it was very heavily based around the festivals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So a couple of like short awards, I guess. Newcomer of the year. I guess we're gonna have to say Mike DeVecchio's the runaway
Oh
choice
yeah.
because really, no, I looked through the cards and there's very few new names. Like Alex Duke, he's only just started getting on the main cards. Michael Oku, but again, he's only done a handful. Patrick Bork, and then no, for me, it's like looking really only four names.
Patrick Bork had an incredible debut. Obviously, sorry, I also had the Patrick Bork Icarus on my highly rated area, but sorry, the I think Patrick Bork had an excellent debut. I think, as we know, but he is actually making a decent go at just doing the wrestling thing. So I think he's possibly one. I think maybe in a year's time we maybe reassess. I think, but
Yeah,
I think yeah, it has to be Mike D. I think for me. I don't really think there's anybody else who's really got anywhere near that really.
and I guess in terms of wrestler of the year, I mean, the four names I'd pulled out: Axeman, Dreisker, Ava, and Peach Tahani. I would almost say Axeman because of the sheer fact, before the injury, before we were calling Hector the glue of WXW, back in the mid cards. I think Axeman was had a run of shows where he was saving most things, not in terms of other shit, but like there's a spell of those Wheel of Wrestling where we were saying he's got a match on it. Watch that. That's pretty much all you need to see. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah,
Um,
I think Carat this year. Carat this year was when a lot of people sort of tuned back into WXW. I feel
yeah,
like a lot of people sort of went, "Ah, Carrots this weekend. We'll chuck this on," and pretty much everybody I know who did that went, "Holy shit, Axeman's class!" Like
I mean,
this guy was not around 3 years ago, and he's there's there's other publications. So I was about to spoil something. There's other publications where I think he's going to be quite highly rated. Obviously, I think he definitely deserves every flower he's getting this year. He's the best wrestler in Europe by far, and I think he's almost being wasted on Europe. Really, to be completely honest, he should be in Japan or somewhere in America at this point.
I mean, we got at the top of the show. We were going on about the 2015 drop, and there was one match I was watching. It was one of the tour shows. Actually, let me pull this up because I think it was Mike Schwartz was the opponent, and like I was sitting there thinking, Jesus Christ, this is not the Axeman of 2023.
I don't understand how that Axeman got signed.
I mean, so the spot was
And
once.
I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. I never understood it.
I
And
think it was an example of polishing of the quote unquote finishing skill worked
mm,
because
yeah,
there's a spot that I saw which literally had me throw my hands up in the air and just walk off the room. So, the spot, Tass always breaks stuff these days where you do the abdominal stretch and you grab the rope and pull.
and he
You
kicks
know,
it.
in wrestling logic is you pull the rope and that, makes the hold even more painful. So he did the hold to Schwartz, but was so close to the corner he couldn't really stretch out to grab the rope. So he just put his arm around the top rope. I think if he had a grip, it would be like the loose of grips, and then like jerked around like it was doing the same thing. It's like I appreciate this is in a small town crowd of maybe I think it's 100 people on that show. For the love of God, if you're there and that's what you want to do, shuffle so you can do that because if it's on camera, it was being taped, it's being released somewhere. But hey, those kind of shows you need to know how to make those mistakes so but you do them in front of 80 people, not in front of 800.
Yeah, yeah. I think uh, he's not someone I think particularly. He wasn't hugely impressive prior to I think signing. When he was in WWE, he was mired around faction warfare, and there's only so much he can do in the WWE system anyway. He come out of the WWE system. didn't look too great. He never really set the world alight, but it's the last 15. I think towards the end of last year, he was sort of going, "Oh, okay," but then
Everything
this
clicked.
year, yeah, this year, absolutely brilliant,
Is that
absolutely
run
superb.
with that weekend they did with Smash? And because with
Yeah,
Lex Luger now, their outage, people didn't see it till this year. There was those matches with Smash Wrestling. It was an absolute. I hate this word because Americans have absolutely bastardized
banger.
this. An absolute banger of a match in Canada, which because it's it got released like late January and by then everyone is just like, no, I've closed the book on 2022. You've got to hunted down as an absolute classic of a match, which needs
Yeah,
more eyeballs. But yeah, I think Axeman definitely WrestleMania of the year, and I'd say
I
I would
hope he does
almost
WrestleMania weekend. I hope he does WrestleMania
yeah
weekend because I want him to get on them GCW cards, get on those, get on Bloodsport. Get him in with those sort of people, and I think that'll be absolutely superb. He needs to be around there
get
because
the eyeballs on
he's the best wrestler we have in not just in Britain or Europe. He's the best wrestler we have
in the
in
continent.
Europe
Yeah.
in Europe. Yeah, by far.
Um, I would go over quick thoughts for Carrot and Tag League. We did whole episodes on those. One thing I did notice was a bit weird. UEA winning Carrot never gave a title shot to Lavaniel, who'd been screwed.
Well, yeah, I suppose so.
Not
Yeah,
even like out of charity or anything like that. And like, no, I know they
didn't
were
he have a bit
kind
of
of
an injury though, Lavaniel? I thought he had an injury or
more than
something.
likely. I mean,
Yeah,
and I think the whole thing of Lavaniel's champion, they were painted into a corner, doing the big anniversary, celebration thing last year. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it was a bust, but I also don't think it
that's a
was
very good
probably what
point.
they
That
had
should have
planned.
happened. That should have happened. That match, I do admit. I think you're right there.
Anyway, wishes and predictions for next year. So for me, really want to see them continue to partner with the promotions. So we had obviously GCW, Body Slam, North, and Progress this year. Not so keen on how GCW almost overwhelmed them on their own festival weekend, but it was GCW's debut. Don't know if that would happen a second
I
time.
thought, I think GCW will be back at Tagfest next year, and it was a welcome change of pace. I thought
Yeah,
actually it was.
even if you didn't do those like overnight shows, there's a
I did
different
do those, and
vibe in the room.
I did enjoy them. I have to admit, I did very much enjoy them. It was a welcome change of pace. I think that's what I would say. I think if they keep doing it every year, I think it might start to get a little bit tiresome.
Yeah,
But I mean, they were very good shows. I would love something similar to happen again. Really, I think it was. I would have no problem if the autumn festival they always have GCW. That
yeah.
wouldn't bother me.
I mean, we do seem to be doing that time with
I
the
mean,
TNT.
there is an element though. I mean, GCW drew better than WXW on that weekend, didn't they? I think.
Yep,
I mean, in a way, there's probably nothing stopping them running independently of WXW. To be completely honest, is there?
apart from the venue, I guess. But yeah,
I mean, yeah,
um,
and if they ran in the sense of WXW helped them out, but I think there's no reason why they couldn't.
no. Other wish list item, guess Wednesday night heat shows, or at least the Academy shows carrying on some format. I know they've been workshopping, but they had the Fight Forever taping schedule that quickly went out the window. But even with stuff just for a live crowd, you do need these kind of shows for your trainees to get reps on, because otherwise, where else we're going to go. Plus, you're making use of the the Gelsenkirchen venue. You had that to do shows in. So yeah, any wish list stuff, or should we just move on to the predictions?
Well, yeah. I mean, the predictions I've seen you, but mine were sort of semi tongue in cheek, semi wish list things. But yeah, we can sort of go through them.
So I would be surprised if they tweak the autumn festival format next year. No, they did try Catch Grand Prix. Obviously, pandemic meant we didn't get the original flavor of that. Then the second time around it ended up being a condensed mega show, which just did not land. I don't know. I just have a feeling that we're going to try something different. This for autumn 2024. Also fully expect we're going to be getting more asks for Shotgun Archives next year. but I do suspect we're going to experiment more with a shotgun name in 2024.
Yeah.
Maybe not a weekly special, but because I mean, I know, kind of maybe stealing your thunder a bit, but like the Wheel of Wrestling shows, you're up to is it 58? We're going to be at by the time we get past Carat,
Yeah.
and now firmly to the point where if you're ultra casual fan, Back to the Roots, Carat, Dead End, the ones who've got their own standalone names, and have the the end of them are the big shows. Wheel of Wrestling, whatever, for the most part, are for the sickos like us. And I
Yeah.
think it's the kind of thing where they do maybe need to get away from it. Even if you do like Road 2 and then have, Shotgun, blah, 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 maybe have Shotgun your Wheel of Wrestling standard, but not have it be every non-marquee event. But I suspect, not going to get full Shotgun archives for various reasons, but the name's going to be used more than just for vlogs next year, I suspect. I know you did a bit of a Twitter thread. Are there any bits you want to pick off in terms
Yeah, I'll
of
go. I will just
series
throw
ones?
them out just for I mean, at least for clarity, so we can go back to this next year. Um, so my thread of baseless predictions for WXW in 2024. So first of all, I said our sweet boy Oscar is back, and he's in Carat. He begins his excursion with WXW after nearly 2 years in Japan. I think that it's they usually spend about 2 years, then go on excursion. That's about right, isn't it?
These days, yeah, no.
Yeah,
Suji was a couple of years, obviously had the pandemic.
yeah,
Almost, was it Kosei Fujita? His
yeah.
excursion is very weird. Like he's been away now. He's come back after a few months, and Rihei Oiwa, same thing. He went on an excursion, and he's been back a few times. So no,
I mean,
maybe the excursion to the Carrot.
there's no. I mean, there's not any reason why. I mean, he could entirely go to. He could go to Mexico. He could go to America. He could go to Britain. But I think, in my eyes, at least, Oscar Leuber in Carrot would be a big enough name to justify being in Carrot, but it would also be a great homecoming for him, I think.
Yeah,
We mentioned sort of a WXW, sorry, Shotgun. Obviously, I think that the format for WXW, we love wrestling. I don't love it. I think neither do you, really. I think that Shotgun returns at least on a seasonal trial basis, in the sense of like we had Shotgun 2020, where it was maybe sort of a summer series. I think that could possibly work. So Shotgun does come back. As part of that, the Shotgun Lottery comes back in because I think it's just a great format. It's the best way to do that title, I think. But also, as part of Shotgun, because you need the storylines, I think you have Melanie Gray come in as sporting director. I think she's been someone I've sort of banged the drum for as a. She's always been a great, even if she's not wrestled, she was still a part of Shotgun 2020, and I think she's a great um, sort of non-wrestler in that sort of sense. And actually, today, Melanie Gray did say she was up for that. So she did say that she was up for that. So that's quite cool. Um, Tagfest, I had MK Ultra, if they're still around. They do Tagfest, so that's Masha and Kelly. I think that would be a good team to have in there. Current Knockouts Tag Team Champions, I believe, in Impact Wrestling, or
yeah.
TNA as it will be. The other one I had was Axel Tischer working face after the summer. I think because he's basically, everyone just knows he's great. You might as well just lean into that. And by the summer, there's a Ring Camp reunion tour at World Tag Team Festival with Timothy Thatcher returning. And they do a limited run of Ring Camp tees, beanies, scarves, tote bags, all sorts of things, and that just makes millions of euros because that just would happen. And I think the other one I had was my bold prediction, like I had with Dreisker. I think Icarus wins the world title next year because I think I've sort of said to you, in my eyes, Icarus, apart from Axeman, Icarus is the best wrestler in WXW. Sort of from in terms of ring work, he can do all the different styles. He can do the shoot wrestling. He can do the high flying stuff. He can do the power stuff. He can hardcore wrestle. His emotive sort of the emotions he can do in the ring, and his facials are second to none. And he can cut a really decent promo as well. He's got a great look. I think he has to get at least a good. If he doesn't win the title, he has to have a good program, a big main event program this year. And I think you could do Icarus Tisha, you could do Icarus Dreisker, I suppose. I think there's a lot of legs in Icarus as a singles person, and I think he could. If we was to, let's work on the idea that we may lose Axeman in the next year. It could happen. He could get signed by someone, and he should. Icarus would be a great person to have sort of on that second tier, ready to step up into the top tier.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
with if we've been maybe musing which Amboss explodes at some point in the next 12 months, that's the obvious feud. All respect to Lawrence Roman. Icarus being required one of the background. Okay, he's been tag champion a few times, but they've done the Lawrence Roman's been in Dreisker's face a lot, so you'd expect if and when Amboss does blow up, it's Icarus' turn to stand up. Or we'll see where they go, but we'll check in 12 months' time, see if we are anywhere near as accurate this year as we were last. Hey, if half those come true, it's going to be a hell of a year anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit of wishful thinking, I think, on all that. I think if as they would say, I think if that whole happens, we'd be so damn back.
Yep.
I think a lot of people would be. I think that's if half of those things happened, I think it would be like, yeah, we would be back to some good sort of crowds later in the year.
And that's 2024. So we've got one final show this year. That's of course the 23rd anniversary show at the Turbine Hall in Oberhausen on Saturday, December 23rd. They've announced a 10-match card, slightly early start because we're going to start with the 10-bell salute for Absolute Andy and a couple of Fight Forever matches for any main card. Announced so far as we record on Wednesday night, we have, of course, Robert Dreisker against Masha Slamovich in the Unified World Wrestling and Women's World Title Unification match. Mike DeVecchio against Michael Oku. Eichel Blanc against Joseph Fenech Jr. Axel Tischer, Anil Marek, and Tristan Archer against Sebastian Hackel, Mikhail Schenkenberg, and Nikita Charisma. Dennis Stolnik and Hector against Lawrence Roman and Icarus for the tag titles. Peter Tahani against Fast Time Mudo. And announced for the Fight Forever matches, we have Michelle Green against Jane Nero. Also on the card, but unannounced, we've got Bobby Guns, Margaret Baby Allison, Lavaniel, and Jörn Simmons. So we're going to have at least, got 3 matches left to announce. And those will be involved in one way or another. After Fashion of New Year, January the 20th, 2024, at the Turbine Hall for Back to the Roots. More than likely, the Kayfig Schlack, judging by the cages being in the graphics.
Always is traditions.
Well, 2015 we had the street fight and Matt then morphed into the Kayfig Schlack, but we'll see where that goes. You'd expect whatever they do is going to be a pretty quick turnaround, stuff based on the Shotgun vlog, so we'll of course cover that in the new year. February 9th, at the Market Hall in Hamburg for Dead End 2024, we've got a 16-carat gold qualifier with Leon Slater against Mike D, and we've also had announced this past week Peter Tahani against Eigel Blanc. February 10 at the Foreman Bielefeld, it's a Wheel of Wrestling / Road 16-carat gold. They've usually done like a Road to Carat qualifier thing, so expect the last, one of, if not the last name there.
Yeah.
February 24th, it's a Wheel of Wrestling Live non-taped event at the Event Hall Airport in Obertraubling. March 2nd for Huber Arena in Bad Sackingen. And in Carat time, about 2 and a bit months out. Festival passes are gone apart from VIP. Most directors will be pushing that this afternoon. And Rose 4 and 5. If you want 2-month passes, standing room only at this point. While if you're getting single show tickets, it's standing room only for Carat. Matinee shows you can get anything but front row. So yeah, if you looking to maybe treat yourself after Christmas, just be aware that's pretty much where you can be left with row 4, 5, or pretty much standing pretty much for Carat.
There's no bad experience. You do what you can.
No, I mean, I know that. Obviously, Carat this year they went absolutely bonkers with the LED set. Like it was almost like the old school NXT layout. They have said they're going back to the old.
It's going to be a bit more stripped back, and there will be a standing area, like a
and a video
like
screen,
almost like a terrace. So
I mean, I know we're doing the video screen again, so it's not going to be a case of if you're not tall and you get in late, you're not going to see anything. We're going to be doing the video screen again, so you will see stuff. Yeah, 2 passes, say in Festival Pass is still there, just obviously reduced numbers. And if you're heading over in the new year, of course, we will see you there. But Mike, that's can do for another episode and another year. No, we don't do this, and we may as well script this part out because, hey, every little helps. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to us in whatever podcast app you use. I know the Google Podcast that's being killed off, so I'm not going to shout that out. But if you use Spotify or Apple Podcasts, leave a review, 5 stars or bust. If you listen on YouTube, subscribe and thumbs up button. That'll get us out to a few more people. If the algorithm listens to us. Otherwise, and I'm going to hold us to this, Mike. It's circles, arrows, and shocked faces in the thumbnails, and nobody wants that.
No, we're not doing those.
Or even like
Well,
slow zoomed ins to low risk pictures of people. But no,
you have to up my cut of the proceedings if you make me do shocked faces.
50% of zero is still zero, Mike. Anyway, so yeah, social media, you're at Mike Kilby on pretty much everything, even if we're not using it. At Ian Wrestling on Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads. Big Back Body Drop on Twitter or Back Body Drop on the rest. And yeah, Mike, that was 2023. You're off to Dusseldorf this weekend, and then
this weekend. I'm not going to watch Dockers wrestling and Alex Kane, but no, I'm going to the Christmas markets actually. It's very unlike me, but yeah, I'm off to Dusseldorf for the weekend. So if you're around Dusseldorf, give me a shout and I'll maybe buy you an alt beer. I don't know, maybe.
Well, hopefully the signal's much better than when I was around that part of the world a few years back. But enjoy your time and stuff. Have a great Christmas time, and we'll see all of you in the new year. Frohe Weihnachten, and I forget what the Happy New Year's in German, but we'll see you in
Yeah.
Frohes New Year. See you in the new year, guys. Cheers.
Cheers.